For many people, the consequences of a criminal conviction can last a lot longer than their sentence. In some cases, it can follow some people for their entire lives. But there is hope. As Dennis Ting is showing us tonight, expungement is a way for some with a criminal record to receive a blank slate.
A photo captures a moment in time, a memory, part of a person's history. But a photo only tells part of a person's story. It only shows who a person was, not who they are right now. This is Lee, or this was Lee, then just 18 years old, working at a grocery store.
The accusation was that there were a few $100s missing. Swiftly, I was pulled into a room with loss prevention.
Lee, who requested to not be fully identified, says she did not know where the missing money went. But without having an attorney present or another adult helping her in the room, she made a mistake that would stay with her for most of her adult life.
And under stress and fear, I signed a document simply to get out of the room, and later learned that couldn't be undone.
Lee says she was fired from her job and later indicted with a Class D felony, theft by unlawful taking. Facing the possibility of a lengthy prison sentence, she decided to take the plea agreement, even though she says she never stole the money.
Then I was a convicted felon.
She spent 2 weeks in jail and came out to a different world. She had planned to join the Air Force. Now she faced an uncertain future, with no promise she would be able to find a stable, well-paying job.
There are instances when you could have an interview and you knew it was a slam dunk, but then someone would say, "Oh, I'm sorry, we can't hire you."
Her conviction didn't just impact her employment opportunities, it reached into almost every aspect of her personal life.
My husband was unable to conceive, and so based off of my conviction, I did not have the ability to adopt.
Like a photo, Lee's conviction only captured who she used to be, but this continued to follow her until 2016, when Lee met someone who would change her life.
A magnificent attorney, former Judge Benham Sims.
My grandfather was the author of Kentucky's Civil Rights Bill.
Attorney Benham Sims is an expert at something called expungement.
I've had 4,000 or 5,000 clients who've come to me.
It's a legal process where a person's arrest or criminal conviction is hidden from federal or state records, essentially giving someone a blank slate. In Kentucky, people are eligible to expunge misdemeanors and Class D felonies.
There's 500,000 people in Kentucky that are now eligible to get expungement, but not 500,000 people have applied to get it expunged.
There are certain rules in Kentucky. It has to be at least 5 years since the end of a person's sentence or probation. They cannot have any pending charges. It cannot be a sex crime or a crime against a child. It cannot involve death or serious physical injury. And it cannot be a DUI felony conviction.
Most of my expungement clients I would want as my next door neighbors because they learned their lesson early and they haven't committed any new offenses.
A Michigan law school study found people who received an expungement see their earnings go up on average by 25% within 2 years, but it does so much more.
They can volunteer at their child's school and become a coach. They can vote. They can go fishing, hunting.
Sims says there are around 135,000 people in Kentucky with a Class D felony on their record, but to date only a little over 4,000 of those people have gotten it expunged. Lee is among the 4,000. After almost 20 years of living with the felony conviction, she finally got the news 4 years ago. Her slate was wiped clean.
Oh my gosh, that was amazing. I think I must have cried for days and days and days.
Lee has since found a fulfilling career and is raising her own family.
Now I feel a sense of empowerment. Sure, I'm a little bit behind for lost time, but better now than never.
She's also working with other people living with convictions, helping them find employment, receive training, and succeed despite their pasts. Working alongside her is Alicia Golden, arrested and charged with a felony as a youth.
I don't want to be judged based off of that. Who wants to be judged based off of their past?
She had her charge dismissed and now works on empowering other women.
With that felony, the only person can count you out is you. I never counted myself out.
Lee wants others to hear her story, the bad and the good.
I couldn't have achieved this if I wasn't worthy of doing so.
Like a photo, her mistake captures a moment in time, but it will no longer define the rest of her life. With producer CJ Daniels, Dennis Singh, WHAS 11 News.